This is Ouch My Wallet, hosted by Robert Simmons, a production of the TF Talk Network.
This is just a thing we do for fun. This is a responsibility.
That's right, Anna.
How are we supposed to earn that ad money that we don't earn?
That's right.
Right. Yes, there you go. Welcome to Ouch My Wallet tonight. I don't know. I guess according to the intro, we're hosted by Rob, right?
It's all mirrors and smoke, and hamburgers are eating people, and the world's upside down. It's a microcaster night, but we're on YouTube, and it said we're hosting Ouch, hosted by me, but it's not. I mean, we're a wreck, people. We're falling apart. This is probably the end of all of it, because I think after this, it's just going to dissolve into chaos, pure chaos. It's going to be a formless void. It's just going to be noise on the internet. I think this is it, guys. So we should enjoy our last hurrah here.
Wow.
At least it wasn't OMW intro. It wasn't Paul's OMW intro.
I just realized I don't have Phil on camera here.
You do not. Phil is the secret voice.
This will be better.
Are we supposed to be monitoring this on YouTube as we record it, or because I never do?
Some of us do. Some of us don't.
I pop out on YouTube. You can pop out the chat, so I do that. That way, I can go along with chat. But
yeah.
Oh man, that's more technology stuff I got to learn.
I actually make eye contact with each of you as I speak to you because it makes me feel like a human. It's all about the simulation.
I mean, it's one of those. I know some of our cast members are on their phone or whatever. I wouldn't expect that, but if I'm at my computer with multiple monitors, why not?
Yeah,
I know.
I normally would just start it and mute it, and then have the chat and then have the Skype window when I wasn't hosting before. So.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I'm very low technology here, and I have got you guys on my tablet, and then the YouTube on my phone sitting below it, so I can see the chat.
The YouTube.
Well, it's the YouTube feed, the YouTube stream.
Yeah,
I guess is what I was abbreviating. Yeah.
Yes, you made him sound like a really dated, confused old man.
It's a series of tubes.
Oh, the senator from Alaska. What was his name?
Oh, God.
We all remember.
No.
That was.
And I want to say he was wearing an Incredible Hulk tie at some point when he said that. It was like so freaking bizarre.
So Randall says we need to do third party on microcasters, and we do. We did it last week.
Literally
with,
just did that.
Exodus. So. We probably would do more if I got more. So pretty much like it's the MMC show, and every once in a while we'll do a Legends figure or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we could just ask Rob to come on and show off his.
Hey, I have plenty of third party stuff.
Like the thing is, the only third party.
Anna
has eighth party.
The thing is, like,
we
the only
don't even know what
3P
country Anna's toys come from.
Like
all of them, every country.
Anna buys some Legends 3P. Peter and I both buy Masterpiece 3P. But like that's it. Like no one else on the cast really, I think, dives that deep into 3P.
Yeah.
So and then they're not the microcaster crew. So yeah, that's why you don't see more third party on the show.
But the other thing too is like I feel like third party has slowed down, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like that
it has changed a lot.
It's changed a lot. So like, Keith, a lot of the X Transbots and KFC stuff, they've sped up a little bit now, but I mean all that stuff with COVID and whatever just did not come out for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a bunch of future ouches in the past week or so with some of these fans' toys, the new releases and the re-releases. So that has picked up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, the Chinese drug boxes.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of boxes.
I always cut that crap open early because I got to make like even if I don't play with the toy yet, I go ahead and get it out and make sure it's there. You know what I mean?
That it's
Let
not
it
a
be a
thing of beads.
surprise.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
But I always feel like if it's beads or whatever, it's in a tiny box. Like it's not in a like they didn't ship it in a massive box. Maybe they did.
Oh no, I'm worried Peter's going to get his beads or his Lego. I mean, I haven't bought from shady eBay sellers in a while. I've been mostly sticking to like Shozy and Terry TF Club and a couple of those other ones, but it's still a lot of overseas crap.
Well, that's the thing is that there's a few trusted guys and also like the Babo whatever.
Yeah,
too,
Baba Bobo's
like, is another
good,
guy.
and Mascot Zone.
Mascot Zone. Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
so
there's definitely ones that are reliable, but I found the stores to be good. More boxes.
So there you go. Look at you, Peter. So was there any issue with you switching houses? Like, did you have to get anything forwarded, or did you manage to time it right?
Unicrons showed up and didn't get thrown in the pond. Or Unicrons showed up. I've got a couple. My Stellar Permomenon Star Convoy from MMC or Ocular Max or Unlimited or whatever the hell. He showed up safely at the wrong house. And my box from Sir Toys from the beginning of April is on its way to the wrong house. And tracking says the plane has departed as of April 10th. So
I had that new X Transbots cup, you know, the one that like
Lock?
apparently, lock, that was really bad QC. That at some point tracking said it went to Pitney Bowes, and that was like 4 months ago. I mean, it's gone, and TFS Express is like, okay, we'll give you your refund. I was like, well, they said they're going to do a new one. You just send me the new one, I don't care, and we're good. And they said that's, you know, okay, if you're good with that, we're good with that. So we'll see. I'm not worried about it. If it never happens, I'll get my money back. And now Double Evil is, I don't know where that is either. It hasn't had, I mean, it's from Shozy, so I'm not worried about it. You know,
Yeah,
it'll
it'll
get
be
here, I'll
there.
get my money back. But
they'll take care of you, yeah.
yeah. So hopefully it isn't lost, you know, because I know it was a new reissue of it because it's sold out and all that. But we'll see.
The
A future
Sir
out to
Toys
my
is-
wallet.
Yeah. The Sir Toys box is frustrating because it has a gift for the boy in there, and I placed the order in March, and it, you know, I figured it would ship in April, and I thought it would be here before his birthday in 4 days.
Probably not.
Probably not. So I guess I'll just get nothing this year.
Yeah, I mean, you can get him a postcard of, you know, here's what's coming.
I'll
Or
provide
you
a
Just
new
kind of
chore
a
chart.
picture of it.
We've done that before, where they take the picture and they're like, "This is coming. We swear. We think."
We hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you could also go the Metalocalypse route.
Nothing.
Nothing.
We got your favorite thing. Disappointment.
Can't wait for that movie.
It's
Oh, it's gonna be
coming.
so good. I'm gonna catch up on Venture Brothers too when that happens.
Do
Like,
it.
Like I haven't watched the last season or two, and I don't remember any of it, anyways. You know, so when that gets close, I'll rewatch them all.
I got 7 for Christmas, and we watched through it a couple times. Yes, catch yourself up. Start from the beginning and just run with it.
Yeah, you gotta love like the Adult Swim shows. It's like once they get popular, it's like we're gonna take 2 to 3 years off between seasons.
Like, I'm too old to remember any of that. Like,
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons I don't like comics. There, I said it. Like, I mean, there's some stuff I like, but you know, when I was reading the Transformers stuff from IDW, every month, like about 3/4 through the issue, it would finally hit me what was going on. Like, it'd finally start coming back to me, you know, and then of course I forget it all again by the time the next issue came out.
wait,
I'm 30
Megatron's
issues
an
into.
Autobot?
I'm 30 issues into the new continuity, and I
Why?
Still don't
Save
know
your
what's
money.
going on.
For more toys.
I know what's going on. It's just nothing is exciting. Everything's boring, and I hate it, and I hate myself for reading it. But I've, you know, whatever. I've got
What I
those
wanna-
covers to collect.
Just, you know,
One-
just embrace it. I
When I
like
need-
it.
What I need to add to my Ask My Wallet is the G.I. Joe crossover. That's insane. That our friend, oh crap, I just blanked on his name. His Chicago developer, Jesus, you know him, Phil.
Ah,
Transformer guy.
Jesus.
Oh man, he's been to a bunch of BotCons with us. I can't believe I just blanked on his name. He's a
Grant?
software developer. Yeah, Grant.
Okay.
put on the spot, and I'm terrible with names as I get older. But yeah, Grant has been telling me to read that for years.
Yeah, no. Peter and I were talking about that during, I think, one
2
of the
weeks.
last,
that's what reminded me about it. I was like, man, I need to get that and read it.
Yeah,
because it's
you do.
Bonkers.
I like how you're like, it was a Transformers guy. You know him. He went to BotCon. It's like, okay, well that could describe a few people.
There's a dozen dudes who fit that description.
I was trying to narrow it down. I remembered software developer. That's unique amongst them.
But that's the thing is like a dozen dudes in Chicago alone. Even software developer narrows it down to like 4.
Yeah. Marco. I didn't know those might not be software developers. Yeah, they might just be like they work with computers, but because I don't work with computers, like
it's all
you all have the same job. Yeah. My friend, she's an accountant. Her husband's an electrician, and we were out to dinner one night, the two couples, and my buddy was just like, about his wife, like, this is all you do at work all day. It's just this. This is all you do, and it's like that's just what I picture all my friends who work on computers do. They just like type.
It's like a Muppet. We're just Muppets.
Yeah.
With a lot more stress.
Yes.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Ouch My Degrading Memory today.
Who said that? Get off my lawn.
So I don't know if we should get to like actually showing stuff off. Now I thought about doing this because last week Rob, when he was guesting on Microcast, kept holding like 1,000 things up. He's like, look at this. I was like, man, you really need to get it out.
It was two things, and they were like both related to the conversation.
It was
one of them less
3
so.
hours of him just holding up new stuff. It was just had to take a nap in between.
And then Anna said, well, I no longer have the energy to talk about this other thing, and then literally talked about it for 20 minutes. Just,
That's how it rolls.
Hey, I will always bring out this friggin' thing, no matter what. I will keep it in my hand. I'll talk about it later, Phil. Don't worry.
Or you can view Microcasters on Facebook or on YouTube from last week and see us talk about it as well. Shameless.
I haven't watched last week's episode yet because I ordered mine from BBTS, and it just saddens me that I probably won't get it for another 6 months.
Oh, is that because you take so long to ship your piles of loot, or?
No, they just take forever to put, especially third-party stuff. Yeah. Big Bad Toy Store is kind of notorious for being very late to the game on third parties.
Oh, yeah, like getting it in stock and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're impatient.
But they got Galvatrons early. This is the first party.
Spoiler alert. So I guess I'll go ahead and go first since you brought that up, Anna. So my friend Anna was nice enough that she, I guess, didn't get it on the pre-order on Hasbro Pulse and was like, I'm going to go ahead and order from BBTS. Who knows what it's going to be in. But she ended up giving me this Galvatron. Well, we worked out a deal. This Galvatron so that I could have him. So I'm very excited for him.
And don't worry, he'll visit Microcasters as soon as Christian gets his.
Yeah, which could be forever.
What's the point of that gun? I don't get it.
To fly it around Unicron and have him squish it.
So yeah, it's way worse looking in person.
Ships, Rob, and
the Revenge.
Oh,
so it's like my third-party toy I have over there. That's
the lemon tree purple potato.
Yeah, it's like the lemon tree, except for it's gray and it's whatever.
It's wrong in every way.
Yeah, but, it looks much less like a ship than it did when they held it up originally. Because when they were holding it up in that reveal video, it was like, oh, it's a ship, obviously. And then when I was looking at Lucas's, it was like, it's a ship.
I mean, if it wasn't gray, it would look more like a ship, but
sure, yeah.
I don't know. Star Wars has told me ships are gray.
Yeah, so. I thought so.
Yeah.
It's the USSS almost.
But yeah, so this guy looks a lot better in hand, I feel like, than in pictures. Like the head sculpt, I think, is actually really good. Like I thought it was a lot better than pictures. Still not a huge fan of the space mud, but whatever. It is what it is.
It's a lot better in person. Yeah. Except for that chain. That chain is trash. But otherwise,
the chain's fine. It's what I don't know. I usually throw these chains in the box anyway, so I don't know. I don't mind it.
I think his proportions are all screwed up. But I don't buy Chug anymore. So, I mean,
I think that the proportions look fantastic, Rob. I don't know what you're talking about.
And you'll notice that Lucas has his
got-
shoulders flippy flapped.
Yeah.
So the shoulders are supposed to be the other way around, which makes him sit a little bit lower. It makes him sit below where natural shoulders would sit.
Rotate him. Do it.
I mean, his chest looks like Bay movie Starscream. This big potato chip, wide chest.
Not that
and he's
bad.
got like this,
It really
not
doesn't
that
stand
chubby
out that much in
torso.
person.
and he's got his Urkel pants pulled way up.
The early leaked photos were really
Those were at a
Screwy.
terrible angle.
Those
Yeah.
They were.
yeah,
Right.
and so I think there's so much just like hate for this toy because people think that. So I am going to reserve my opinions till I get them in hand.
And there were like photoshops to make him look even more squat and more
There
goofy.
were. So
Yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
proper shoulder orientation, or the proper.
He looks totally. I mean, I feel like the proportions for the most part. I mean, he might like be a little bit wide, but
Might be a little bit wide. Like, can you put some more weasel words on that when it's obviously too wide? Like, there's no maybe. It's like he's a wide boy. He can't fit through doorways. He has to turn sideways.
That
That's
won't
why
do
I
he's
me
mean,
so
any
I'm not
good.
body shaming. Just to be clear here, I'm just saying it is. So.
It does not help a transformer to turn sideways because they have backpacks.
I mean,
They just gotta
the backpack actually cleans up pretty
It's
well.
a
on
smaller
this.
backpack.
Yeah. His back looks like a Galvatron back to me.
So, yeah, I
it
don't know. I
fun?
mean, it's a
definitely is
lot better
in
than
person.
it's a lot better than the Titans Return one. So,
My God, that was like the worst toy of the line. Like,
it's not a high
Titan-
bar, but
yeah. Titans Return was probably the last Hasbro line I really enjoyed. But that Galvatron was trash, and it still makes me angry.
I got a fun upgrade kit for it.
I got the Selects Ultimate Megatron. So, what's the proper name for that, Peter?
Super
Super
Megatron?
duper.
Super Megatron. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I got that version of which is way better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually a good
It
toy.
is way better. But there were a number of kits that came out. Did you get the render form kit, Phil? You ran away. Okay, bye, Phil.
Yeah, I'm going to grab
Peter
it right
talked
now.
me into
I
getting
forget-
the render form kit for that Titans Return Galvatron. So
It's wonderful. It
Yeah.
fixes a lot of the issues with that.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big axe, the proper alignment of the cannon and the head, which is very, very IDW head.
And it also came in, you can get it in the normal Gen 1-ish head, and it came
Yes.
in two different decos. You could do the Legends deco like you have, or the
Yeah.
Hasbro deco.
Well,
So,
yeah.
fun
Well,
all
maybe
around.
the render form kit will make it easier for you to sell it, Lucas, on eBay. So.
Or at least you get
Possibly.
an excuse to keep
I-
both if you have fills.
I probably won't sell it. So
Okay.
I've got
I
a
feel
pile
like
of
this
Hasbro,
one
but-
is my IDW Galvatron, and then
Yep.
the one Lucas has is my Chug Studio Series Kingdom Galvatron.
Because he's
Which,
one of the
uh,
many characters that's a very different person in the comics. So having both is actually kind of good.
But then again, too, it just brings up this question of like, we've got what? Cyclonus, RC, Galvatron, Rodimus that are Kingdom toys and yet should fit in the Studio Series 86. And
Oh, wait till
What
they
are they
start
gonna
doing
do?
Studio Series 86 box sets with scene recreations and slight redecos of the Kingdom characters in the Studio Series 86 box sets
Without the space mud.
without the space mud and with proper colored ships to
Yeah.
go with them and all the things that are like, I can deal with that in Kingdom. They're going to be fixed for 86, but still not quite perfect. You have to buy both and put them together, and then it'll still not quite be perfect. And then 2 years from now, they'll do it again in a premium deco and charge twice as much. So then you bought the thing 3 times, and then you're still not happy because you bought the thing 3 times.
I don't, know what
Yay.
you're, I don't know what you're talking
So-
about, Sideswipe.
no, Hasbro literally is doing that with an Endgame Thanos toy. So like they showed in this Fan First Friday a new Endgame Thanos that's coming out with an Iron Man 2-pack, and like well, we know some fans said this toy isn't quite right. So if you buy the one from a couple of years ago, and then you could swap out the parts, and now you have the one exactly how it looks like in the movie. So it's just like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
And yes, to Peter's point, they will probably do that to us with Transformers.
The cynicism is free.
And I don't know. I've reached that point where it's like you don't get to bitch about having sewage dumped on your face when you keep saying, please dump more sewage on my face. So, you know, like literally asking for it. And it, like until you start opting out of some of this stuff, you know, welcome to it. That's what the hobby is.
First you're body shaming, now you're kink shaming. Will you just knock it off tonight?
I feel attacked.
Yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking to hear all that.
And Paul just said in the chat, just wait till the third time then. Because we don't know 100% for sure that there will be a third time.
If you don't buy this one, there won't be. You need to buy it
Right.
4
Support
times
the brand.
before we can
Support the
afford
brand.
to do the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Hasbro knows what they're doing here. So
I mean, how many Skeletors did Mattel and Super 7 get out of me? So
only 7
6, only 6.
or 6.
You're good
or
at
7?
counting there, Lucas.
Apparently. So anyway, all right. Who wants to go?
I have not Transformers, and I'm going to talk about. I'm only going to do one round probably. And honestly, given the way we're off topic tonight, that's probably all we have, anyways. I got this guy in Ohio a few months ago. It is one of the Jewel Lords from the Rock Lords with his weapon, and it was more than I wanted to spend at $85 complete. The Jewel Lords are expensive, but now I've seen him come up on eBay like literally a week ago for like $200 with his weapon. They are really all over the map on eBay though, but he's super nice. It was at it's at a really big toy store in Ohio. I know one of our viewers, I think Randall, he was actually at the store that night. I was there visiting in-laws. He was actually at the store later that night that I was there. Like I saw it on our Facebook page. It was just funny. It's the toy department, maybe it's not. Anyways, but yeah. So super happy to get that, and I went ahead and on eBay I said, "Fuck the weapons," and picked up the last 2 as well. So I now have all the Jewel Lords, and I'm very happy with Solitaire and Flamestone here. The weapons, like that premium to get them with their weapons, is probably like another at least $50. You know,
Each.
if not more. And it was just kind of like, you know, I'm just gonna bow out, grab it because they just keep going up. They're actually cool toys. They are fun. You know, if you like vintage stuff, if you like Rock Lords, you would like these toys. They transform in kind of neat ways. They're different. They're cool. They're shiny. I like cool and shiny. And so yeah, I got some Rock Lords, and I've been wanting to talk about them for a while.
Rob, how could you do this to Anna? You
Do
just
what?
see the look on her face as you show off these amazing Jewel Lords.
Yeah, the jealousy's pretty strong with me right now, but that's
Like,
okay.
I don't exactly remember how much I paid for those 2. I think I might have paid over $100 for Solitaire, even without her weapon.
Yeah,
And
that sounds
Flamestone was probably 70 or 80. And both of those were bought from European sellers.
No, I've been looking at the price on those things for years, and I just always wonder, like, do I really want to complete my Rock Lords collection when it requires spending that much money on little, very pretty, very cool rocks?
Yes.
It's a case of, since I've cut out so much of the Hasbro stuff and I just buy third party, which third party comes in waves. You'll have really expensive months and then nothing for a few months. So I had it in the budget, and so I splurged. I also just recently splurged on Saberstone, and the only one I have left that for what I define as complete is Spearhead. You know, and I could get some without the weapon, but I think I can get it with the weapon. I just gotta wait for it to show up. I mean, it's expensive still. Like, that's not, but you know, it's within my budget of what I'm willing to spend on it. So I just gotta wait for it.
Yeah, I've run into a few of them for sale that were If I was infinitely rich, I would have bought them.
The Jewel Lords are awesome. They are very cool. They're very shiny, and like I said, they're fun toys. Although I do kind of, being that translucent plastic, it always kind of, you want to be a little extra careful with, especially because they have screws into that plastic, and die cast pieces because the joints, like all the limbs, his legs and stuff are die cast. So, but I had to transform it. Just you got to be careful.
They all three look great though. Like they look like they're in good condition.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They look really, really, just near new, at least from the couple times you held them in front of the camera.
They're in good shape. Like the worst is him, just because his leg joints are a little wobbly, but it's really just this one. But it doesn't affect him standing in any way. It's just when you pick it up, type of thing, and he has no problem standing or anything. No, they're cool.
I guess my only thought with that is like, why did you feel the need to transform them? Because they transform into just like amorphous shapes.
You'd have to be a Rock Lord collector. It's actually fun to transform them. I mean, the different ways.
I have tons of Beast boxes. Do you like the cassettes in G1? I love the cassettes, and they make stupid rectangles. You know, so it's the same thing. There's something satisfying about forming into shapes.
Yeah, the number of different robots you can get from the shape of a rock or from the shape of a rectangle cassette. It's really cool.
Yeah. And of course, most of the Rock Lords, all of them are different shapes. They're not just, they're all weird and do their own thing.
Some look much more like rocks than others.
I just have the main villain who's just a
Magmar
cube. Yeah. He's just a brown cube.
Yep. He's mad about things.
Yeah.
About being a brown cube, probably.
It's Telly Savalas.
So, Rob, do you actually like to complete collections, or do you like to just have that out there? Because I feel like myself, I just like to have things that are hard to find, just so that it, limits like my collecting. You know what I mean? It's almost like it kind of keeps me going almost.
I'll complete things.
Yeah.
I'll definitely complete. Like my G1, I mean, nothing's ever complete because you can always find that other thing. You know what I mean? But like I consider my G1 basically done. Maybe one day I'll get, a couple of the Japanese recolors that I don't have, but I'm not pressed about it. Then you start focusing more on your display and things of that nature and getting it lined up, because moving glass shelves is really annoying.
Your display's great there, Peter. Thanks for showing that off.
We're making progress.
I miss Peter's green Energon cubes. There we go.
That's the stuff. All right. Next.
Who wants to go next?
I can go. I have nothing super duper. I did some playing catch up on Masterpiece-ish, third party-ish stuff. I got a pink lady because the Hasbro one sucks, so I bought it, and then I didn't open it and was like, wow, that sucks, so I'm going to go back and find this thing. So I found this thing. This is the one from Ocular Max, the first version, not the PS04A. This is PS04. For those listening, this is RC. So there she is. She's still not perfect, but she's better than the Hasbro one or the Takara one.
I mean, I still don't think there's a perfect RC.
There's not.
I don't. The Masterpiece one is my least favorite Masterpiece toy in a long time.
It's bad.
And I don't. And things like a lot of people talked about how it was good, like from a quality perspective, and I guess it's fine. I felt it deviated too much from what the Masterpiece line is supposed to be. I really dislike that figure, but maybe that's another show.
Why buy a Masterpiece toy if it doesn't look good? I just don't understand that. Like, that's the one thing they have to do is look good.
I mean, from certain angles she looks good, but the thing is...
Yeah, certain angles.
The thing is, it's not the cartoon look, and that's my problem with it. It's, the hyper feminine stylized look, which that's not how she looks in the cartoon. She's a robot still, and instead now she looks like her back is broken or something, just to have extra curves and things. And it's like, that's not what this is supposed to be. But, the MMC one is more fun, but like you have to detach the hands to get it to fit into car mode, depending on which hands you put on. Like, that's just such a weird thing. Other than that, it's a good toy. And then
that's really
the Fans Toys one is a
only
nightmare.
Complaint about that. The MMC one is with the hands. You can kind of hide them under the car, like if you just have the one hands that hold the guns, but it's still not really right. Yeah.
So after Rob and I talked about your toy and toys related to it, what do you think of your toy, Peter?
Me like toy, and toy good. So yeah, no, I think this is the best one for my my aesthetic, what I'm looking for. The Hasbro or the Hashtag one was hot garbage in my opinion. The Fans Toys one looked like a mess, and no thanks. I thought this one looked better, so I got her. And then there's the Toy World one, Leia.
Oh yeah,
the one where they just quit
just
3 quarters through.
Yep.
Like, fuck this thing, it's impossible. I'm out.
It's funny when you kept talking about how the Hasbro one is bad. I keep thinking that you're talking about the Kingdom or whatever one, like
Earthrise.
not the Earthrise, like not the actual.
The Earthrise one is better than
the
Earthrise one is better than the Masterpiece.
It looks more like her.
Looks, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other third-party Masterpiece, speaking of removable hands, I got this dude. It's a Transart 04 Black Kitty or whatever. Hey, spoilers. So, yeah, it's Beast Wars, Ravage, and so I'll let Rob talk about him later.
No, I have a question for you about yours. We'll talk about it now. I mean, I don't need to talk about it. Did you get your back panel open to put his cassette mode in there?
I did not.
All right, so that's where it stores. This thing is so difficult to open. Like, I watched a YouTube review of it, and there's not a lot on YouTube about it. And like people just like, oh, you just pop it open, you put the little cassette mode in there, and I had to like get out my spudgers and dig and dig and dig, and the paint didn't get too messed up with it. It was, oh yeah, see, yours just worked fine.
Popped right open.
Yeah. Well, you won't have a hard time putting your tape mode in there then. Guess it's just it was just mine. This thing also barely transforms.
Yeah, it doesn't. You bend him over, and I guess the other side's harder to open. Oh no, I might have to get a spudger. Oh no, girl knocked him off a shelf. That was fun. He landed on carpet, but his gun flew away. His head fell off. His tail fell off. One of his hands disappeared. I had to go like digging around. We're moving, so there's boxes and things. She bumped the shelf, and he went whoop, 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 and dove like 6 feet. He's fine. Poor kitty.
I think it's cool that they did that, because who else is going to do, that he's in 1 episode or whatever, right? Or maybe is he in 2? Maybe
3 episodes, and then his head appears in a 4th.
Yeah, so it's just cool that it got made.
Yeah, I'm super excited for him. It makes me want to go back. They're on my short list, but the latex is really bad on them for Skating Gorilla and Cheetor, Transmetal Cheetor. So I don't want to spend $300 on Transmetal Optimus, and I don't want to. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That thing, I bought that for like $110, maybe a year, not even a year ago. No. But it was getting hard to find at that point. Like the people that had it were just sitting on it, like, please buy it, right? I think once people saw that they were doing 2 or 3 figures, then people were like, okay, this is something.
Well, once the first one landed and they realized that the quality wasn't going to be garbage, because it was at that point a new company still, it was like, oh, this is good, and they do have things in the pipe that are also probably going to be good. So snatch everything up.
And of course, we all thought that they were a knockoff company at first.
Yep. Well, it's because their
first
Optimus
thing
was just that was a nope.
Yeah.
If there had been shows last year, I probably would have been able to scoop up Transmetal Op and Cheetor pretty easily, because someone would have had it on a table somewhere for $120, and I'd have been like, oh yeah, I'll take that and that, done. But this year was weird for some reason.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I'm in Florida, so it wasn't too weird for us. But so yeah,
it's a regular year.
Ravage.
Yeah.
What's interesting is like I could probably count the number of Beast Wars episodes I've watched on one hand, and yet I'm very familiar with that Ravage. So when you say it's like an obscure sort of 3-episode appearance, it's still very, very well known in terms of Transformers lore.
Well, I mean, it was like the craziest story arc in all the 52 episodes or whatever. So It's like the most memorable arc, because guess what appears in it? Arc. You see?
Yeah, hilarious.
I got
All
TF
right.
Talk shirt.
Nice.
You talk TFs.
Anna, Phil, who wants to go? Anna, sure.
Anna will go.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to continue our theme. It's still not tall enough because this thing's just too small. So I'm going to continue our theme and talking about Galvatrons.
Oh my god.
So
That's the what? Dr. Wu.
this is
Dr.
the
Wu.
Dr. Wu Galvatron.
Woo!
It is very, very little, as you can tell. Like, I want to exaggerate how small this is, or underline, or something. So, here's Masterpiece Enemy. A lot of us are familiar with the Masterpiece cassette size. Here is Gunvatron with him. And, this is his gun mode. His gun mode it exists. It's fine the way it is. I think what I'm going to do with it is I'm actually going to flip the arms and legs around, or the arms, so that you can hold it by the fin and turn it into a Target Master, because I love Target Masters. And, Galvatron isn't a real gun, really. Well, a usable gun. He's a Thane.
He was advertised as a usable gun in his original instructions and used a couple times in non-cartoon media.
Perfect. I will try to emulate those things I don't remember. As always, as is our fandom. But yeah, so this came in a 2-pack with another figure. But I'm transforming him real fast as soon as I can get his head to pop.
So Anna, now that Legends are creeping up in price, is that something where you need to go to an even smaller scale?
These I think are going to be a novelty for me. I've got a pretty large Legends collection, probably 60 or 70 figures, so I really don't want to, abandon it and go to the smaller scale. I do think the smaller scale is very impressive, don't get me wrong.
That's really noisy, Phil.
Yeah, but it's like the sexiest noises. I'm sorry. I love the sound of Gen 1 click-clacking.
That's funny. There we go. Okay, so here is his robot mode, which is probably more impressive.
Hold him up next to enemy again, please.
Oh, yeah.
Smaller.
Someone left Galvatron in the dryer.
This is the comparison that makes me laugh, because holding him up to the current Siege cassettes.
Huh. Now it looks like an episode animated by ACOM. In season 3. We're good.
Yeah,
this is the G1 Galvatron gun mode. So not too different than
pretty close.
Yep.
Yeah, so one
His
of the
submarine
cool
mode
things is that I've seen much larger figures with much worse head sculpts. You really can't see it on my camera because my camera kind of sucks. But his head sculpt is actually fine. It looks like Galvatron. It looks like Galvatron. He's making a facial expression. It looks nice. He has enough articulation. He doesn't have ankle tilt or wrist swivel because, well, if you're going to have those, you'd be someone cooler than him. And he works out just fine. His head turns. He's reasonably articulated. He's a little sketchy from the back with his hollow legs, but I'm impressed by it. I think it's a really cool thing. And it came in a 2-pack for a little over $30 with his much superior friend.
New Soundwave.
Teeny tiny new Soundwave, who's just a little bit shorter.
See, that's from a shot from Five Faces of Darkness Part 2.
I can't tell the difference. It's
I'm
like
gonna
watching
go
a
to
cartoon
Sheshno.
on Skype.
Well,
We're to be
So
careful.
these are
We're gonna get DMCA'd.
So these are sub-legend scale.
these
So
are way sub-legends, because here's within arm's reach my Legends Megatron, right? Legends Megatron, new Soundwave.
There we go. So these would be compatible with what would you say would be the best thing to pose them with or have them in a play pattern with?
Micromasters?
I think they work with Micromasters. Like, they could stand beside them if you wanted them to all be the same size. Since Micromasters are legitimate vehicles, you could be like, oh, well, now they're full-size Transformers like everyone else, and now these guys hang out with them. But honestly, I've experimented a little bit with posing them with the Titans, and it's just like a little bit better than the Legends. Because the Legends look way better than other figures with the Titans, but these guys are just like, that's a step. It's like, it's just a little bit closer to being able to think like he could live in Fort Max and it's a reasonable size house, right? Like, it's not bad. It's not a city by any means, but we're getting to house level.
We're getting there.
We're getting better.
Okay.
Slowly.
So what I'm hearing is people now need to sell off their Legends collections to buy the sub-Legend micro collection size now, because you got to buy that 86 or 84 to 86 cast all over again.
Got to do it again.
So Dr. Wu is doing an Optimus, and their Optimus is like a $50 figure with a trailer and roller and all that stuff.
Are they
So-
World's
doing
smallest.
Are they doing a Rodimus at that scale? Because I need to pair that with my Stellaris Promenon.
Don't
Promenon.
think yet. There's another pack that has Beachcomber with the
That's not
regular
Rodimus.
Soundwave, and I might have to get that because I really like Beachcomber. But I don't know how many of these I'm going to get, just because I am a Legends collector and I do like Legends. And one of the things I like about Legends is that they push the line of being, really high quality figures, right? Like these, I could stop collecting MP and still have my high detail, high complexity figures in my Legends collection and get the same kind of satisfaction at a smaller scale. Whereas these are just impressive feats of engineering, but they're not at that level of detail, right? They're really good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think this is incredible.
I mean, physics exists, and you reach a
Yes.
point with them. It's kind of like a processing power on CPUs. Like, at some point, we can't get them faster. So what do? We just put more and more cores on the chip to get more processing power. But it turns out writing multi-threaded code is really hard. And so, this is like, we've stagnated. It's not like in the 90s when power was just through the roof. But you can only get so much smaller.
Yes, that's the thing with these. I think this is probably about the limit of what you're going to be able to play with as a small figure. But anytime I say that, somebody will try to push that limit. So,
I mean, we have world's smallest Soundwave. I think I actually might still have mine. Which is smaller, but then it has even less detail, right?
I think this is about the size of World's Smallest Soundwave.
No, that looks way bigger.
You think so?
Yeah.
Right.
But
I only have
World's
a couple
Smallest
World's Smallest
Ravage
figures.
is the best thing ever.
That they just so
Small
ridiculous.
Yeah.
They did not try to make a cassette for this. They did not. His chest doesn't open. He doesn't have a cassette.
I mean,
Nothing of that sort.
a lot of us are still waiting on Dr. Wu's cassettes for the Siege size. So
Yes. Yeah, those are good too.
Those are-
I think this is more impressive, but those are good too. I have those laying around.
All right, Phil, what you got?
So I'm going to bookend with what you started with us here, Lucas, with Kingdom Toys. So I am late to the game and just got these 3 Transformers. So the Kingdom, Air Razor, Huffer, and Ractonite, was that his name? So as you can see, my son and I have been having a lot of fun with the taking apart Ractonite and making different weapons. But I had these 3 on pre-order from Target with a nice little sale discounted price. And what happens when Phil buys toys from Target with a sale discounted price? They get their pre-orders canceled. So I was fortunate enough to find these at a local toy shop. Was basically able to get them for retail. I think I paid more than retail, but Target charges me taxes. He doesn't. So yeah, walked out paying the same price for these 3. I like them a lot. They're fun. I think we might have lost Huffer's gun already. But no, it didn't. I really, really enjoy Ractonite. Like, I know Christian doesn't like these dudes, but
Christian's wrong.
I'm in that camp. And so, yeah, my son was having so much fun with Ractonite and making armor. And then I brought up the and I'm already forgetting their names, the T-Rex skeleton one.
Paleotrex.
Paleotrex, yeah. So I brought up Paleotrex, and he was just building all kinds of crazy things with Paleotrex and Ractonite. So then I finally caved and ordered the pterodactyl and the triceratops. Because I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna get all these because they're fun and they're fun to play with, and they just make like a regular Transformer look stupid, crazy, insane when you have a Styracosaurus like arm shield and club made out of a rib cage, you know. Oh, and then you also got a truck bed shield, you know, on the other side there. So,
yeah, I think they're super fun. And personally, what I did with mine is I put Paleotrex writing on Ractonite, and like it just makes a really fun, or the other way around, Ractonite writing on Paleotrex. Okay. And it just makes a really fun little like skeleton knight for like your undead Transformer satisfaction if you're into that, which I totally am. Most people probably wouldn't be, but since we have zombies coming,
Night at the Museum.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, and I think that's the thing with these is there's so many different ways you can play with these. Whether it's hey, new character, new way to transform. It just, you know, to me, I like these fossilizers even more so than the weaponizers from the previous line, because the fossilizers they just look so jarringly different on the mechanical robot versus you know, the weaponizers sort of look like they belong there. They definitely beefed up a toy, but this just looks absurd and awesome.
It's so absurd. They're so fun.
You know, that's one of those things. I know Christian and I both kind of complained about it, but then you remember, oh, some of these are actually made for kids and not necessarily us. And so, I mean, that's what, like, a lot of these, you know, Titan's Return figures, like the Titan Masters or Power of the Primes, when it came, like, with the little head, whatever, prime things, you know, and combiners and whatnot. And my kids loved all of that stuff. Like, we had a lot of fun playing with that, or the Micromasters or whatever, you know, just... It's like that's one of the things I really like about the main line is that you can have a lot of fun with your kids with those figures.
How much did your kids like you know, stuff like a bunch of half-formed teams of Micromasters? Like was that like their favorite thing? You know, like, oh, we're gonna do this gimmick, make a bunch of half teams, and then just completely drop it and never revisit it or finish it.
They finished.
Like, is that like their favorite part?
They didn't care about that. They're just like, oh, hey, it's a small little card. That's fun.
They didn't know
you didn't raise them right. I guarantee you Peter's kids are his son is as pissed off as I am about it.
maybe not as pissed off, but he's certainly looking forward to more Micromasters.
He's gonna hit 40 before it happens. He'll share my pain.
So are you.
I already did. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna be in my situation still.
Well,
be like
no, what they'll do is they'll eventually come out, but the deco will change on them, and so then it won't look right with the old ones.
Yeah, the new Micromaster scale will be a little different. Like the first time we got or I guess the only time the trio of Insecticons, each one of those came out in a different line.
Yes.
You know, you can squint and put them together, but you know they don't really go together, but beggars can't be choosers, you know, if you want chug Insecticons.
Well, it's like we got Blackjack and he was a legend, and then we got Blackjack and he was a Micromaster. They're all going to come back out as legends, but they're going to redo all the characters that they've already done, including the mask guys in legend scale, and then they won't finish the Micromasters, and then they'll have a whole line of nothing but Micromasters, but it won't be the rest of the teams that we're missing. It'll be something new.
Micromaster Optimus.
Bingo.
It'll be Micromasters at deluxe sizes.
Hey, the Guzzlers, I'd be so happy to have a deluxe class Fix-It, and a deluxe class Red Hot, and a deluxe class Tote. Bring them on.
I mean, a lot of those are
I'll take any Micromasters
form.
I can get.
If you want to collect the Transformers TCG cards, Rob, you can get the Micromasters, the whole team. So there you go.
Why don't I just take some images of Micromasters and print them on my printer? and said,
All
"Look
right.
what I got." No, I'm good.
All right.
I mean, I have all the originals.
I mean,
but...
you don't want to collect a failed card game?
Well, was it a failure? How many years did it go on? You know?
2.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share Grimlock's
Does
new
this-
cassette player that he
does it say
innocently
anything?
found in his house. He just found this little cassette player laying around.
Does he stand outside of Swoop's window holding that up at night?
Playing Peter, what's his name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel songs? Yeah.
I love how much this can be an accessory for the other toys. Like you can sneak in and be their accessory. Sorry, I just had to add that.
Mass shifting.
All right. Well, I guess we're on to round 2 here, right? So I got another thing. Peter will have to tell about this because I honestly don't know about the history. So I got myself Robot Man Z, Salt Man, whatnot. So in some very nice packaging, G2 looking packaging here. So I'm pretty excited. And this is
What you got to do is grab the bubble, grab the card, and separate the two on
Oh,
the camera.
no, I can't do that.
Do it.
But it's such an amazing transformer. You have to experience it.
Yes. No. So I didn't even know that I wanted this until it popped up on Facebook the other week, and I was like, "Hey, Peter, should I get it?" And Peter's like, "Of course." Like,
Okay, if you ask Peter that question, you're already buying it, right?
Correct.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
You're more asking like, is there something wrong with this before I purchase it, just to make sure, like, he's not like, dude, that's a knockoff, or something like that. But I've never seen that carded. I didn't know that it was carded like that. Like, I honestly didn't even know that it was. I thought those were just like Diaclone colors or something. I've never looked into it. I thought that's all it existed as. I didn't know they came out as G2.
Yeah, they came out as G1 and G2, the Robot Man Z and Salt Man X, and then that's the Antex version. There were a couple other south of the border type reissues or license issues, So those are official. They're cool. Get them. They were super prevalent in the early 2000s, late 90s. You can get them for like $15. Not so much anymore. And yeah, the end. I hope they get some nods in the modern line.
That never got like a U.S. release though. Those two, did they?
In those colors, no.
That's what I mean.
Well, people know about them. So
there's a lot of stuff that didn't get U.S. releases in weird colors.
Yeah,
True.
I was just making sure I didn't miss that. Because I didn't think it did.
Yeah.
Did they have European releases as well, or just like?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Peter's
That's
got
cool.
books full of weird colored toys that never got released in the U.S.
You're spoiling my next doodad.
oh, way to go.
Womp womp.
So, but yeah, so I'm excited about this. This is kind of, the G2, like what Rob was talking about with the fossilizers, that I've now gotten all of the like cheap stuff. Like I originally got into it because I was like,
You mean
I
Rock
can get-
Lords?
he
But-
meant
Rock
Rock
Lords, I'm sorry.
Lords.
Yeah, sorry, Rock Lords is what I meant. Slip of the tongue. But yeah, like I originally got into it because I was like, I can get this stuff for like $15-20 a pop, like whatever. And so then I got all that stuff, and then now I'm on this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's similar to like my vintage Ninja Turtles collection. When I started that, like vintage. Everything's more expensive these days, right? But like most of them are like $10, right? But then you get down to the last few, and it was like, oh man, that's like $100-200, and now that figure is now like $800-900. But
The white Jordan, is it Raph or Michelangelo?
I don't know about those. Like the ones that like there's a bunch of late era rare expensive Ninja Turtle stuff. Like all the variants though I don't even bother with. But like Scratch, he's kind of one of the quintessential really expensive. There's like 2 or 3 others from that last year that have all just boom 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 in price. It's crazy. But yeah, sometimes some of those things you just don't get. Just like, man, that's cool.
Rob, going back to your first thing that you showed, if you do get all the Rock Lords, are you then a Rock Lord?
I'm Lord of the Rock Lords.
Okay.
Well, maybe I'm
Rock
King
Lord
of the
Lord.
Rock Lords. What's
No.
above a Lord? Regent?
No.
Boulder Boss. You become Boulder Boss.
Boulder Boss. It's like a wrestling name.
It very much is.
I'll go real quick. I think I briefly talked about this on some other show, but just to keep with the Galvatron theme, this is still sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the toy itself, I did transform it. It's the first like modern Legends I've messed with. You know, I know that's not a new concept, but I haven't bought any of them, and I bought this just for the shell because I love Galvatron. And yeah, the toy's neat and it's really nice. Like as far as like paint and quality, and you know, it's very well done. The transformation was kind of you know, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the most like I have no urge to fiddle with it. Getting it in his suit is pretty funny, but yeah,
That's
it's
new age for
ridiculous
ya.
and silly, and I don't know. I'm happy it exists, and that's all I needed. So, and I don't know, like this animation frame still cracks me. Like they had to be laughing when they made that, right? Like that's an obvious like this is ridiculous and stupid. And then also, why are the colors like that? Like those are, if you haven't seen this is from Headmasters, where Galvatron is even more insane than he is in season 3, and he decides he's going to find Unicron's corpse or something. No,
he's gonna transform the Earth into his new body, and he's gonna use the finest robot transforming parts to make his body work. He's telling Sixshot that I'm gonna use your body and Earth and incorporate you into my body to make this, and he presents it on the screen. And in the RMT English dub, he says, "This is unicorn," and like happily, "This is unicorn." And then, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, thank you. So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's this big ball with his limbs sticking out of it. It's the stupidest thing ever. And yeah, and if you watch the English dub, it's even worse. You know, it's done by 3 people doing their best to make voices who had no idea what the characters were called. You know, and like Unicron or Unicorn and Billy and Power Pack and
Wally, Battleship Bruce,
new Soundwave.
Good old Bruce.
Yeah, so it's
Billy.
a riot. What's funny though is I actually did watch all of Headmasters and I still can't get through Victory. Just puts me to sleep. Tried 3 times. I've tried.
And just in case anyone is curious, quick plug is you can find the entirety of that dub on YouTube these days. If you need help finding it, I will help you because it needs to be watched. More
It's
people
entertainingly
need to
bad.
know.
I remember finding some of those in college off of Napster.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I first started seeing them back in the day.
I got them on VHS in the 90s, and I spent way too much money to get them because, like, these are super rare, bro, and you like $5 an episode, I'll hook you up. And so, okay, fun.
I mean, it's even beyond the terrible English dub. Like the stories are also crap, in my opinion. Like they're really dumb and really bad. You know, whereas Master Force I think is actually good.
Master Force is fantastic.
Yeah, you know,
Master Force is way better than Headmasters.
Yeah, like use the subs. Don't listen to the dubs. But
Low bar.
Yeah, but I quite enjoyed Master Force. Although I don't know, I haven't watched it in over a decade now. Maybe I'd watch it now and be bored. I don't know.
Watch it again.
Add it to my list of stuff I'll never rewatch. That I keep saying I want to rewatch that. But yeah. All right, that's it for me.
All right, Peter.
Is it my turn? Yay! Okay, so I went to the store and I bought these. They're crap. They're blind pack garbage from Cyberverse.
Oh.
And
Wait,
you gotta
are
look.
those?
They're tiny Turbo Titans. So
There's
I got
a new Tiny Turbo Changers
yeah.
line?
There's a new assortment. This is a Series 4 from Cyberverse, so it's Series
I love Tiny Turbo Changers.
7 overall. So this one I got F. And
Ooh, F is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. I got B. I got, who are you? L? Got L?
Do those actually correspond directly to the toy inside?
Yeah, I got I. So I haven't done my checklist. I got K. Fancy. This is exciting. It's riveting stuff. I got D.
I didn't know this. It is exciting, except I don't get to know what's in them.
I got C. Oh, on the wiki, it'll tell you which one's which.
I know. I'm gonna go look, and I'm gonna go and start obtaining them.
Yeah, there you go. And I go hunting for tiny turbo changers.
That's what
now, did you get that
for.
at Target or Walmart?
Target, yeah.
Target, right? Okay, Target.
Target, yeah. So I got 8 of them to get all together.
Target.
I think I'm missing 4. I think I'm missing 4 from that assortment. And most of them, the best part is most of them are reissues from previous assortments. Unchanged. So,
why?
Why do you do this to yourself?
Because hey guys, check this out. I got a book from Toy Fair.
That's at least interesting. That's a piece of history.
So I've got this book from Toy Fair, and in the olden days before internets were really a big thing, this is from '95, and they still do it. Each table will have a book where they talk about their stuff for the year. Apparently this year was Littlest Pet Shop and a bunch of doll stuff and whatever. Hey boys, so they've got Batman and Waterworld.
Oh Lord.
Gargoyles. Oh, and Transformers. Look, it's the GoBots. The GoBots with their high-speed racing axles. And on the next page, we've got the 1995 assortment, including the laser cycles that we didn't get, and the auto rollers that we didn't get, and the combat heroes that we didn't get, and ATV Megatron. You can buy it this year. 1995 is the year for you. And VR Troopers, Power Rangers, Alien vs. Predator, Congo. You can get the Congo line.
Oh my god.
So you can go in there.
That's not a kid's property. I don't know what is. Just like Waterworld. Remember how all the kids were excited about Waterworld?
That wasn't a joke, was it, when you said Congo line?
So Peter, here's what I'm a little not certain about. I've seen you show this before, and it didn't dawn on me. This is not just a Hasbro thing. This is multi-company promotional stuff.
Correct. This book is from Hasbro Toy Group by itself. So it's Kenner, Tonka, and Hasbro. But every retailer, every company has their own booth, their own book for each year. So this is like everything that the Hasbro Toy Group did for '95.
Okay, yeah, the Batman thing I forgot was part of that.
It was Kenner at that point, yeah. And this is like the first year of Power of the Force 2, so that's getting a big push. Like you can buy a brand new Luke Skywalker. We haven't gotten Luke Skywalker in stores for a decade at this point.
Yeah.
So it's just really neat that this was, one of the books that was at the booth, and it has Transformers in it that never actually legitimately saw the light of day.
So is that something that you got lucky and found it on eBay, or just, okay.
Is there only one of that in existence?
I'm sure there's got to be more than one. Probably.
Nothing's ever just one.
Yeah, probably each dude that was working the booth got a book to show off. And then they did it again in '96. So in '96, they had Mr. Potato Head. I'm just going to skip to the good stuff. No, get out of here, baby toys. And
it's a baby.
Oh, Babe Pig in the City.
Ooh.
And
wasn't that Hasbro's attempted adult toys that year?
I think it's interesting of all the lines outside Batman obviously was big back then, but all those toys you're showing off were not really popular toys as I remember.
They wanted to be.
They wanted to be, and that's the point of Toy Fair is they show everything that they're gonna push for the year, and then it's up to the retailers to be like, oh, this looks interesting. Gorillas with paddles that bash people's heads in. Awesome.
I thought they were discs.
They were in the book. They were paddles, I think, and in the movie they just kind of hit each other.
Okay.
But this book
the movie had Bruce Campbell.
It did for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he died.
And then you see his corpse later, which is always fun. So this one is the first year of Beast Wars, and it has an interesting appearance by this character.
Oh, is that the orange Tigertron?
Tigertron, yeah, orange Tigertron. So Yeah, pretty neat. Little bits of history. Flesh out the collection and stuff like that. Ouch, my wallet.
Yeah, that's a really cool book. Or book.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Seeing stuff in the Congo and Waterworld, it's funny, all the toy lines that exist for things that aren't aimed at kids even remotely. But I mean, advertisement, kids see all advertisement anyways, but Terminator toys and RoboCop toys, that's not
Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo. Those aren't things that, generally 8-year-olds watch a lot of. Not saying no 8-year-olds do, but not a bunch.
I saw RoboCop in theaters. My dad took me because it's going to be awesome. It's a robot cop, and I like robots. And
it is awesome.
It was awesome, but
I don't know if you got the
6-year-old me
satire.
was not ready. I didn't get the satire. All I got was the violence and
extra gore.
Yep. Yay.
What was your dad like? Don't tell your mother.
No, he was fine. He talked to me like, I don't know if he was ready for that one after the fact. So, but yeah, but now it's a favorite.
I think the interesting thing though with some of those properties, not with Terminator, but Rambo and RoboCop did get kids cartoons.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
They're kidized.
So there was, there was even a teaser run made for an Aliens vs Predator cartoon that never saw the light of day. So yeah, some of these properties that you can look at and be like, this isn't for kids. They tried. They did try really hard.
And the RoboCop line, true to its nature as a children's line, fired caps.
What was that?
I said the RoboCop line, true to its nature as a children's line, fired caps when you put
them
on
them. But that was common in the 80s. Yeah,
so
He-Man
weird.
toys fired caps a lot.
Yeah, Thunder Punch He-Man had caps. Almost all the Cops toys. The Cops and Crooks line from '88 had caps. The RoboCop and the Ultra Police had caps.
I haven't thought of caps in 20 years, and I am now smelling them.
Yeah. They will always smell.
Did one of the Punishers? Did one of the early Toy Biz Punishers have caps?
I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a point of it's an adult movie, but when it becomes popular enough and it's successful, then it's like, okay, now how can we make more money off of it? Kids cartoon, tone it down. I mean, the first Rambo, which isn't called Rambo, that's more about PTSD than anything. He didn't become an action hero until later, where I'm going to shoot the bad guys. It's a much more deeper story than boom boom guns. At the beginning. It's just it's funny how that changes over time. It's like, okay, now let's do a kids cartoon, and NES video games for all that crap as well. Generally all of them terrible, but
Rambo NES is the best game ever made. I play it every year as a ritual.
Sega Genesis RoboCop versus Terminator was amazing.
Or the NES Friday the 13th, which all your friends are dead, you are dead, game over.
I never want to play that again.
It was a terrifying game. Look at it now, it's silly, but it was terrifying. And it's a terrible game, but all your friends are dead. Thanks. And I think you're up, Anna.
Yeah.
Am I up?
I think we're just all just simmering in the all your friends are dead.
We're all just sad about it.
That's what the game says. It says all your friends are dead. Oh.
So on the theme
but
of
that
time
means I
traveling,
had friends at one point, so yay.
This is fiction.
So Lucas took us back to the 90s. Peter took us back to the 90s. And Rob took us back to the 80s. I'm going to take us back to the year 2010, when there weren't quite as many third-party figures out there, back to the age of Perfect Effect. And they're random figures. We're going to bring up this little guy, who I recently acquired. I finally got one of these after staring at them for years and years and not being sure if I should buy them, when Perfect Effect made freaking Target Master-ish versions of Rumble and Frenzy.
And they were great.
Rewind and eject. And they're kind of great in their own timely. Okay, Peter. Sure. Everything else I say is going to be super positive about this figure. Don't you worry. Yeah, and Like, I've wanted to get a hold of one of these for a long time because I collect Target Masters, right? Like, I have the Target Roids laying around my room, and, you know, those are obscure and weird and wonderful, and I really like them. So, after the disappointment of buying what I saw for the first time ever, knockoff versions of the Target Roids, right? TFC made those Target Masters that were Optimus, Starscream, blah, blah, blah. And I found out that there were knockoffs. And in the pictures, I was like, oh, well, they're just going to be like kind of crappier versions. I can use them as guns and they'll be fun. So I get them in hand, and they're these wonderful floppy garbage messes that have a lot of things removed from them, like necessary things like handles. When you manage to turn him into a gun, he has no handle to be held. So he's very, very useful as a target master. And by that, I mean not at all. In fact, the Megatron can't even transform because he's missing some of his joints. So is the Rodimus. Other than being a ridiculous color scheme, the Optimus is also poop. He's very good at existing. Also cannot be held because he has no handle. So I had to get an actual good Target Master experience. So I got this guy. And he's like a really cool little figure, you know, like for his day, for 11 years ago.
They were amazing when they came out.
Yes.
I had them all. And actually, what I was looking for, I forgot. I sold it on eBay a few months ago. I thought it was still in the pile, but it did sell. I had the Rosanna from Perfect Effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that on sale a little while back and was thinking, I kind of wish I had that one, but I have the KFC one, so I'm good enough.
Might have been looking at Rob's.
Probably were. It's not like there's a lot on there.
Yeah, so the thing about this is, like, it's a fun little toy. It's, like, major parts forming. You know, the barrels are the little gun pile drivers that he's holding. You have to put those on. The handle itself is a smaller pistol that he can hold as a gun, but then you have to shove it into him awkwardly to get him to turn into a gun. It's not quite as easy as intuitive as a lot of other Target Master transformations are, and it took me like 3 tries to get it right. But you know what? I have to collect all the Target Masters, and I really enjoy them, so he's really cool and fun. And I only need this one. Like, I'm not going to go back and find the other ones because this wasn't the, like, amazing toy experience it could have been, but it was still fun. And I like going down memory lane with this old third-party stuff that came out back when I was in grad school and refused to spend money on Transformers. It's 2010's the year I started my PhD program, so it was like, no toys, cannot do. And then
Rosanna had swords. I don't know remember if any of the other ones had swords or not. But she did.
Mine did.
They did? Okay.
I think so, yeah. For the Rumble
different.
the Autobots were a little bit different from the Decepticons. Yeah. And then there was Shadow Warrior, the first one that came out, and everyone's like, ooh, and they were buying them up to paint them as Rumble and Frenzy. And then they just released Rumble and Frenzy. But Rumble's colors are a little bit off. On mine, I ended up painting, because the face is a little bit darker and the chest is red. So I ended up painting the chest black and kept the gold yellowy highlights, and then painted his face a lighter shade of silver instead of the darker gunmetal that it was. And they were good stand-ins for years. Loyal little troopers.
You know, as we were talking about earlier in the show, like when back in that era when that stuff came out, you're like, oh, you don't think that, oh, well, I'll just wait and see what Hasbro does later for these characters. You know, you don't think it's ever going to happen. Right. Because back then, I mean, classics had come out at that point, which blew us all away. But even that there was all new reimaginings. It's not like today where they try to make it very, very G1 these days. You know, it didn't exist. And so, I mean, I don't remember what year it was, but we got the cassettes, and what they turned into tanks. You know, and they didn't really, you could tell who they're supposed to be, but they didn't really look like it, right?
Yeah, that was Reveal the Shield era, so 2011, 2012-ish.
Did the data discs come out before or after those?
After.
Okay.
Data discs were Thrilling 30 and Fall of Cybertron era, so that was 2013, 2014.
Okay, so those are also okay.
Those exist.
Yeah, they do exist.
Even my kid is like, no data discs.
Yeah,
I almost bought
the birds aren't horrible.
And I literally almost bought a set so I could get Sundor because it's the only Kids Players cassette character I don't have a version of. So I need a Sundor in my life, and that's like the only one that's affordable.
Just buy the real one.
I
have no idea what they cost anymore. I got them when they came out. So.
They're not pretty numbers. They're less than pretty numbers. I just need MMC to make a version of them because they make Glitz. So make me Sundor, and then make a new mold and make Rosada, and I'll be good.
I mean, they've shown off prototypes of the rest of the Autobot cassettes. Just I assume they'll get back to it at some point.
I hope so. I will get them all. I really love those the big cassettes. They're cool. Anyway, cool. Off topic.
I kind of missed that era of Transformers a little bit, though, where you were getting like different versions. Where we've been in this phase of regurgitating G1 and trying to be as true as possible with G1 for so long that I'm like, give me some reinterpretations of what these characters might look like. So. I don't know. It's funny. Like back then, it was like, oh no, this is neat, but give me exactly G1. And now my taste would be a little bit more like, give me something a little bit different. Give me something with a little bit more flair and a little bit more, creativity behind it.
Can't you ever be happy, Phil?
No. That's what I often say about Transformers lines is we just get too much of the same thing these days. Yeah. Titans Returns came out and everyone was a headmaster. Right? It was cool to have headmasters again, but why was every single toy have to be a headmaster?
Because the line has to be a gimmick.
Every single toy had to be a combiner. And that's exhausting. It's nice to have that variety. Like, we have the G1 homages, but also a few reconceptualizations would also make it more fun for those of us who are into that sort of thing, which I know now there's at least two of us that exist at Phil. Thank you.
Why didn't we get a Sunstreaker in Titans Return? Why didn't we get a
Combiner Wars?
Why didn't we get a Headmaster's Sunstreaker with Hunter O'Neill in Titans Return? What the fucking fuck?
Because we're pretending that didn't happen. That continuity is dead
exclusive.
And doesn't exist.
You know what?
I don't care.
Also, spoiler.
You know what I've spent most of my life pretending didn't happen? Headmaster RC. You know what they made? Headmaster RC.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Headmaster RC was amazing.
Literary genius.
No.
Dawn will fight you if you want to, talk bad about her.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Mix together two of the major sentient characters on the show. And, it's a mess.
And yet, again, from what we just talked about, it got weirder once it went purely Japan. Like, you thought when it was in, like, American writing hands, this is weird and stupid. Japan was just like, nope, hold my beer.
All right, Phil, what do you got?
All right, so I got some big dudes here. Bought off a friend of the show, Orson. So these were opened, but complete with the boxes. So little KFC,
nice.
King Gorilla, and Kong Gorilla and King Gorilla. I'm not
King Gorilla and Kingzilla or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. But Snapdragon and 8-Face MP style third party. I very much enjoy both these toys. They are big and heavy, and if I dropped one on my toe right now, I'd probably have to go to the doctor. But they are just they are impressive on a shelf, and very, very glad I picked these up. Glad I was able to get them for a pretty good price. Again, both being from someone I knew and being already opened made that more palatable. And Rob, to your point, third party like kind of ebbs and flows, and this was at a time where third party there wasn't a lot of new stuff coming out, so it was like, all right, let's buy some big dudes at a good price, and I'm very, very happy to have these, and don't have room on my shelves at the current moment for them. They're kind of like standing on the ottoman in the middle of my basement. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy them, and they're half to mass. I have yet to transform them because I sit here and talk about Transformers for hours on end versus actually playing with Transformers.
Too much time.
Yeah, but
they're good toys.
Yeah,
like they're not overly complex. They're not confusing. I mean, it's one of those. Both of those toys in every version, you got to kind of squint. You know, like, oh look, it's a dragon now. Like, oh yeah, now it's totally a ship. You know.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like you put into that rough shape, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know, but they're good toys. They're fun toys,
Can
and
you
they're not
put
made of
one-
soap. They're not soap plastic.
They're not
Yeah.
soap plastic, thank goodness. Can you put one of them like up on your shoulder beside your head, Phil? I didn't realize how big they were.
Yeah. This is.
I mean, they're masterpiece leader sized.
They are
But
really,
bulky.
really large.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they
These
first
are
came
not
out, I
small
thought I
toys.
wanted them, but good golly.
I mean, if you like Legends toys, like you could make this Godzilla scale for your Legends toys. That would fit in well as
I also
a King
have
Kong
him as a
Godzilla.
Legends figure, so they give you frenemies.
What's that?
I said I have him as a Legends figure, so they give you
Okay.
frenemies.
There
They
you
give you his
go.
own target master.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're hefty figures. I was not expecting the heft of these.
Like they're a little shorter than Fans Toys Hydra. They're not 6-shot, but like they're probably a little taller than Masterpiece Soundwave. But then they're bulky. You know, like they're
They're
just
huge.
like Eighth Face has, you know, this whole plane on his back, right? It's just how he
Yeah.
is. And then Snapdragon, you know, even not considering his backpack, like he's just got these big arms because, you know, it's part of the plane, and they're big chunky boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so if you look at Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, which is, you know, a
Big,
very large
huge.
masterpiece.
Oh, look at that.
Ultra Magnus has got more height, but in terms of width, Eight Faces is, you know, yeah, they're both going to have troubles fitting through a door, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ultra Magnus doesn't skip leg day, though.
He has
Usually
time
the
for
quality
that.
on those are pretty good quality, Rob.
Oh yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
good. Like I was mishandling mine when I first got it, you know, and like trying to push something that I shouldn't have, and I broke a hip flap on it, and I emailed Keith and sent him $5, and he sent me a new part, and it's
That's
fine.
cool.
You know, like it's one of those like I definitely broke it. Sometimes you know when you break it. Sometimes you're like, well, this was a fault in engineering, but no, they're good toys.
'Cause I've only owned a few KFC things, and it kind of soured me. Just like I got like, you know, this pair.
Oh, the early
And-
days of
Yeah, but
KFC
that's
is
the
very
early
different.
stuff.
I know it's
Mo-
early, but still, it was enough to sour me. You know, that was
Mo-
back when I was like dipping my toes into third party, trying
That
one or
was
two
like another
things.
10 years ago too, right?
It
2013.
was a while.
Oh, my cat's
yeah.
throwing up. Sweet.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
Presents.
Yay.
Yeah, most of the KFC and X-Transbot stuff has been pretty good quality for like the last several years. I think
Okay.
the only one is that cup, I guess, has had some issues. But other than that, like, right, Rob? Like, have you had any problems with any other ones?
Not quality wise, no. I think their engineering has gotten back to overly complex, but they had like this 2 or 3 year gap section where they were really nice engineering, you know. But like Fuzz is apparently super complex again. Locke was super complex again, and the trailer, Minosaur's trailer, is just miserable. It's terrible. But it's just funny because the rest of that set is awesome. The cars and the truck like are super fun toys. And like, no, they're just really good. And then like, yeah, they're going back to let's make it overly complex. You know, I don't know, we'll see what the future holds. I'm curious with it, but KFC had a really bad start. Kind of like, I don't think a lot of people remember, but so did MMC. MMC's first figure is that Optimus Prime that I still have, and a
The
part on
Night
it
Morpher?
broke. Yeah, Night Morpher. I broke his smoke stack because one, it's a smoke stack, and also the plastic on that thing is just a weird plastic, and it's not very durable. But you know, look where MMC is today, right? You know, they're super durable, super good toys. I love the design of it. You know, it's cool, but you know, they had a bad start too. KFC stuff is good these days, other than, you know, some of the transformations usually have parts that are annoying, but these don't have any spots like that I remember. It's not like they're not Scourge, like the feet are really bad.
Oh,
You know, the rest is good, but those feet are terrible
right.
trying to squeeze
Oh
through.
god, that feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough.
And like the Junkions are really good, except the handlebars where you got to squeeze them through. That part's the tolerance, and I bought like 6 of them anyways, right? But for all the variations, but even then, the rest of it's really nice.
Their wind charger was a little rough too.
No, wind charger is great.
That's the X Transbots line, so that's the 598 designer.
Right.
KFC was all someone else. That hand over the part, I hated that part, and the feet are kind of weird
rough too.
Yeah. They look great, but
fine, Peter. If you disagree,
I like them. I like them.
I mean,
I don't think we're gonna get any better anytime soon.
Yeah, right.
We all hate Ollie. We all hate the first Ollie, right?
Yeah.
Ollie was bad. That was so bad. Even the later versions aren't great, but it's like that toy's expensive because no one else has done a wheelie, and it's still a nice looking figure. And the later versions are okay. It takes companies sometimes a while to find the quality there, or it's not. I
remember a couple years ago, a friend of mine named Lucas asked me to pick up an Ollie from someone else for him, and I had to handle it for a couple days, and I was just so nervous that the thing was going to melt in my hands, because I was like, oh, I don't have any third-party toys. I'm going to open this up and look at it, because he said I could. So I was like, oh, God. Go back in the box, get away.
But it was a later version. It wasn't the...
It was, but it was so scary. I heard all the rumors.
Oh, if it's a later version, it's nowhere near as bad. I've held both.
I still have my original version because I knew I'd never be able to sell it, and that thing was just coming apart in chunks as I was trying to transform it, just like, whoa, okay, this is neat. And I bought it in a 2-pack with the Turbo from GoBots homage, and it came with a coin. I never even know. The Ollie was just like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not opening Turbo, so I guess he'll just be sealed forever. And I flung him into a box.
I've got that Turbo in 2 pieces because someone.
My Turbo's still in 1 piece, but
mine came in 2 pieces. Someday I'll fix them, maybe.
It was at the last TFCon when Orson set up the Captured Prey booth for the, that last time. He actually had a couple of the last version of Ollie's, and I actually bought one of his last ones and then sold my original for about the same, or if not a little more, because it's going up because there's nothing else, and G1 Masterpiece collections are getting, especially like 84 to 86 are getting pretty damn solid at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of gaps left, and that's all there is.
Only 1 wheelie, yeah.
Ollie was rough,
well,
guys.
There was that one other wheelie.
The Jizai Toy was one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the knockoff of the Jizai Toys design. Yeah.
I looked for that thing so hard for a while, like trying to find that. It was really hard to find, and then X Transbots came out, and I just stuck with that. But
everyone, we got Wheelie now, right? Right? We're taken care of. Our salvation has arrived.
I don't know. I don't buy Chug, so I try not to just get on here and spew negative stuff about it. That's why I don't come on the Hasbro reveals ones, because I'm just going to point out everything I see wrong with it. But like, that feels like somebody's like, we got a little extra money. What's a cool accessory we can do with Grimlock? And I'm like, well, what about a little wheelie? I'm like, okay, cool. But then like, it's almost large enough that you expect it to transform, but it's obvious that it was just, it's just an accessory they could throw in.
Yeah.
And it's very conflicting. It's like, would you have rather just had nothing? And part of me, it's like, yeah, but again, I don't buy it. It's not really aimed at me anymore. But
or a sword.
Yeah, if it's an accessory we can throw in with him, why not just give him his accessories? Oh, and the answer is cynicism. They're going to release him with a sword down the line when they do the redeco and the toy colors.
Sword, crown.
Yep.
Right.
That type of stuff. Yep. I don't know what guns it came with.
At the same time, I do want to say, as an accessory, like, he does work. It's just like, I almost feel like if they wouldn't have made him a moving action figure, if they wouldn't have given him joints, and instead they would have just made him a little, like, statue clip-on that clipped on, he wouldn't have felt so weird. It would have just been like, oh, he has a clip-on accessory wheelie to make that scene. That's cute. But instead it's like he has an almost toy wheelie that comes with him that's almost something.
Does he have elbows and knees?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
He has shoulders and hips and neck. His neck's on a ball joint. And
he's got 5 points of articulation, just like your classic Star Wars figures. He's perfect.
Oh, he's got waist swivel too. Waist swivel, 6 points.
6 points.
How does he have waist swivel but no elbows?
That's where the budget drew the line.
Right.
You know, along with
waist swivel's easy joint to do.
Like, I don't know. All I see is just like big hollow chunks of barely moving plastic.
Yeah, he's not much, but for what he does, he's fine. I just think he didn't need to move, and nobody would have complained.
Well,
I feel like it would just
not when he's stuck in that pose. He's stuck taking a dump. You know,
yes, but he wouldn't have been taking a dump. He would just been an accessory to stick on Grimlock's head to be like he's head riding Willie, and otherwise you throw him in a box. But this way, you feel like you're supposed to have him out as a figure, which you're not. He does not do that on his own.
When they released the Dinobots Attack the Quintesson Citadel set with all the Dinobots, they're gonna just put Titan's Return Wheelie in there, with the headmaster spike or something. I don't know.
It was a full size door, right, Peter? A full size door to knock.
Full size door, knock it over on the prosecutor. Yeah, get him.
The door will have a button on it that when you press it down, it goes, "Excuse me."
Hey,
excuse me. Excuse me.
So here's my theory: is that this year's San Diego Comic-Con, we're gonna get Cup and Hot Rod and Sharkticons, where you can see with the new Studio Series Sharkticon how you can replace the face of the Sharkticon with a torn in half face. So we're gonna get those, you know, maybe like 2 Sharkticons and Cup and Hot Rod, and with a ripped face Sharkticon, and the Executioner, whoever that we didn't get from the Quintessons. That'll be the 2021 Pit of Judgment 2 box set.
They're going to call it 2020, like the song that was playing. Hunger? Yeah.
And then 2022, Rob will be your, the Dinobots barging in and the Slug saying "excuse me," Slug saying "excuse me."
So then we can have all 3 sets, put them all together, and you have a 5-minute scene. I'm in.
Can I have
take my money? Take my money.
Yeah.
If the tube connects to the Pit of Judgment, I'm in. Like I would build that in my room.
Yeah.
I kept my cardboard Pit of Judgment, so I'm ready to build a cardboard monstrosity.
Well, I think we're pretty much done. Thanks, guys, for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone in the chat, Catherine and Zaldron. And
we had a new name as well.
Did we have Enots, I think?
Yeah, Enots. I don't think I've seen it
before.
Yeah, it's visits.
Okay,
Ron,
my bad.
Ron earlier as well.
Paul Freemail.
Oh,
I don't know that guy. He sounds shady.
Yeah.
Ron was there. Hi, Ron.
So, yep, and Ron. So, but yeah, thanks, guys. And then I have no idea if there's going to be a cut the tape or not. So Rick hasn't sent me anything yet. So we'll see. So.
And don't worry, Microcasters will be back.
We'll have TFLP again next week. So apologies for canceling last minute on that. So, but yeah. Any final thoughts before we go, Peter?
I like toys.
Book Club Sunday, second half of Combiner Wars miniseries. Go find it, read it, come join us. Discord. Come to the Discord. We'll tell you what to read.
Yep.
It'll be fun. We enjoy talking about comic books. Once a week, 8:30 p.m. Central Time on Discord.
I had the chance to buy some of Livio's pencil work from those issues, and kind of I don't know, was very, very, very tempted to, because I could have bought the page where I forget which of the combiners basically like throws his arm through the other combiner's body, and it's like, that's pretty awesome.
People have strong opinions about Livio's art.
That's what I was gonna say, but it wasn't going to be as subtle as that, Rob. So thank you.
I own 3 pieces of commissioned artwork from him, so I enjoy his work.
That's I'm glad someone really likes it.
Yeah,
I actually like it too. I don't know. I think his proportions get really screwy at times, but there's a lot of it that I don't know. There's certain things about it that I find appealing. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of it that I enjoy about it.
And I've heard a lot of people complain about the Sarah Stone chapters, and they don't like her art, and I love her art. So
I don't remember what hers is.
She did the Windblade miniseries.
Yeah,
part of
her
Combiner
artwork
Wars.
was amazing on that. I was
Really
so
good.
disappointed when she just sort of dropped away from it.
It's super
I think comic book
great.
work in general.
But
Yeah, I
some
think
people don't
she-
like it.
Walked off. Yeah,
I love it.
she was fantastic.
Yeah, like the covers that she did for some of the collected editions, like the Prime. I think that face is just like good and beautiful.
Those are the kind of conversations we have in book club. Please join us.
There you go. So, well, thanks, guys, and we will see ya.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
everybody.
night.